Hi friends, it's Lauren. I am back with another video for our New Energy Creator YouTube page. Remembering where we left off, the last video I posted was Cosmic Creators. And I did a great big overview of what's happening in all of creation. One of the glorious experiences of this light body expression experience is you get to travel freely throughout the cosmos without leaving your physical form. Katumi used to tell us, you know you're in your light body experience and expression if you're spending 10% or less of you, your essence, your time, your energy on day-to-day human things. So being in the light body, that's what we're gonna talk about today. And then at the end, I'll tell you our plan for the rest of the year. Yes, I do have a plan for the rest of the year. But today is all about you, your light body, and your personal experience and expression of consciousness on Earth. We're gonna let go of the big picture. You cannot have one without the other, right? But we're gonna let it go today and just focus on the right here, right now, and you and your light body expression. So as I was saying, one of the greatest things about this light body expression experience is you get to travel freely throughout all of creation. I am not special or unique. If you're not having this experience already, all you have to do is cultivate a little bit more inside the biology. The biology is so supremely intelligent, and most people are only accessing 5% or less of the capabilities of this biology. I eat whatever I want, and look at how I look. That's one of the nice little perks of this, right? When you have a pranic flow going, you don't have to count calories or worry about the Stairmaster, you know? But one of the other parts of the irony, the paradox of being in this light body expression experience is you also fully function in life and society. If you want to hold a job, you can hold a job. You're not blasted by the people around you. You're not having to go into the grocery store with sunglasses and a hat anymore, right? That was the Piscean age. You can be fully you, out and about in the world in this light body expression and traveling the cosmos at the same time. So as I said, the last video I posted, Cosmic Creators, that will become a whole series that starts in November. It's going to be free on our YouTube page because why not? Why not? I'm not going to chase down pledges and Patreon and this and that. No, I'm just going to put it out for free, and I hope you come to one of our light body events. Today we're going to talk about this light body and what keeps people, beings like you, beings like us. Please note that I have met every single one of these archetypes I'm about to talk about. So I'm going to give you a list of archetypes that keep you from moving from initial realization, conceptual realization, oh wait, I'm already realized, to full embodiment in the light body expression experience that I'm demonstrating to you just by being here. I don't really have to say much, but I do like to give the mind pointers. This list of archetypes I'm about to go down are all archetypes I met on my way to being God also, to being a vessel for the will of God, to being in my full light body expression experience. Those are all different terms for the same thing from different ascended masters. To me, it's just a full flow of Kundalini, Shakti energy that is constantly moving through me and no longer causing me any distress. It can be intense, but I'm not under distress. I had some pain the other day, and so interesting. The pain is just information. When you don't have that double down in duality and the emotion about it and the why me about it and the identity involved, pain is just pain passing through. Energy is just communication. I'll give another example of what I'm experiencing in this light body. I had a personal heartbreak recently in my life. And I'm a big fan of feeling your emotions. Feeling your emotions fully and completely. And if you do that without guilt and shame, they just pass through. So someone might experience heartbreak and spend another 2 years trying to process it in a therapist's office or telling their friends the same story over and over and over again. But I'm a real firm believer of let's just pull it all in, let it all through. So I've been doing this a while. So I'm like, okay, I experienced heartbreak. My ego's not in it, you know, so I'm just going to feel that heartbreak. And it was so bizarre because I started allowing the tears, which is a great way to move it through. You can move through 2 years worth of what it would have taken you in 30 minutes. Just do it, right? Just do it. Stop walking around it. So I was allowing the tears for about 30 minutes. And the most bizarre thing was I was smiling. Oh my God, I was smiling ear to ear the whole time because I found this thing called cosmic love and I feel it all the time. So that's enough to send someone to the mental institution if they don't know better, right? I'm smiling, every cell in my body is smiling, but tears are coming out of my eyes for that 10% in the human form that experienced heartbreak. After 30 minutes, I'm back in the cosmic love going, what's next? Okay, bring it on. Life is moving through me with zero resistance. That can feel like a clown show sometimes. You're up, you're down, you're whatever, but there's this steadiness in the I am that I am. I exist, which is the only truth. So let's get started with the archetypes. This first one is usually something I see with those with a more dominant feminine nature. The second one I'll talk about is something I see in those dominant with a more masculine nature. From a human level, there is no feminine or masculine beyond Earth. There's not. I fully embrace it. I love being a girl. I love being a woman, and I am quite a feminine creature, if you haven't noticed. So the first one that I see that holds people back from realization to embodiment is they become a woundy, watery mess, a puddle, no backbone. It's all horizontal energy in this big, woomy, watery horizontalness, if that makes any sense. And there's very little vertical. Stand up straight. God lives in your spine. The woundy, watery mess is often that victim story, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do life. I just can't get it out. I'm so sensitive. And then if I start trying to work with people and it's like, they don't want to leave their wound. But the wound has to become the womb of creativity. When you can take that watery, oozy, woundy mess, and please, there's plenty of stuff to be wounded about, especially if you've been incarnating on Earth as a woman over and over again. My first life, owning my own house, right? Houses. My own credit card to put me in that first class seat that I take. You know, I'm enjoying life. This is the first time women have really had a chance to just go at it. You know, I'm enjoying that. But the woundy, watery mess is a place you get, say you have a plant and you overwater it. It stops growing, it dies, it becomes moldy, right? It has mold, too much humidity, too much liquid. So that fire, right, that earth, the air to dry it out comes from the Shakti flow up and down the spine. Stand up straight. God lives in your spine. Stop placing so much emphasis on your stories and wounds so you can see the bigger picture. The second archetype, and I'm not telling you how to integrate these, it's just holding up a mirror. These are all things I went through to get to where I'm at now. The second one is mainly from the men that I have worked with. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And it's the kill the Buddha, which is actually a really good saying, but they don't know what it means. So every time I see a heavily masculine presence say, kill the Buddha, the next thing you know, they're gonna have a new young girlfriend they're grooming and posting on Facebook and they're madly in love with. Or they have sex addictions. or porn addictions. They're constantly looking to kill the Buddha through sex, I guess. I don't really know. I've seen it a lot. There's a lot of anger coming from that masculine place. To me, it's the same as the woundy, watery victim, but just the perpetrator version. And don't we know that? The victim and the perpetrator are always the same thing. A perpetrator is a victim is a perpetrator. Let's find some neutrality. So the actual meaning of kill the Buddha means you want to kill even the idea that there's something higher than you or outside yourself. That is a great concept. It's meant to be a shocking phrase that serves as a spiritual sword to shake up the rational mind, right? Kill the Buddha is a saying that's prompting you to move beyond the intellectual, conceptual understanding of enlightenment toward a deeper, more profound way of being. So instead of enlightenment being conceptual and mental, this is how they sound. Well, a realized being wouldn't do that. Well, a realized being wouldn't do this. You know, kill the Buddha, and all these teachers are dumb. Everything's dumb. I know everything. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, kill the Buddha is really saying, stop placing anything outside of yourself, right? And develop that sentience within you. Then you won't need to, and oftentimes the people who are doing the kill the Buddha, the hyped up masculine, missing the mark version of kill the Buddha, they often are heavy drinkers, right? They go out and party, they look for their next fix. You can't F-U-C-K and drink your way to embodiment. In fact, it's not even possible because you're still looking for something outside yourself. You've killed the Buddha and now you're in a shame spiral of addiction. I've done both these things. Hardcore. I've never done anything half-assed. I've done addiction hardcore. I've done kill the Buddha. Everybody's dumb. Get rid of all these ascended masters. I'm no longer teaching anymore. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to quit. And I have allowed myself to get sucked in to the woundy, watery mess with clients before, because their wounds start to activate and then your wounds start to activate, and then no one can do anything. No one can get anything done. It's the world's messed up. How am I going to pay my bills? And when you're in that woundy, watery victim state, you often end up in the prostitute archetype, right? And that's not about sex. It can be, but it's like needing something from outside yourself. Then you need a protector, someone to pay your bills. But at what cost, right? At what cost? So I'm just going to go over these very, very briefly because I lose you guys at some point, right? So we have woundy, watery mess. We have the kill the Buddha, missing the mark version, right? Killing the Buddha is really realizing there's nothing that's going to fill you up outside of yourself. You turn the light of awareness back within yourself, and then you can actually develop the sentience that comes along with being in a vessel of light, this light body expression experience. Most of the time, what I deal with, and in myself too, and all the ascended masters who got me to where I'm at would tell you that I did this on steroids. So I have my humility. It's the indignant identity, right? I'll be cruising along with a client or in a class, and then there's an identity that'll come out that says, you don't know. You don't know how hard it is, or you're deeming it wrong, or just any kind of, it's like I call it the indignant identity. It's very hard to describe. I know it when I see it, right? Moria used to always tell me it's entitlement that keeps people back from enlightenment. You're not entitled to anything. You're not entitled to a healthy job. You're not entitled to your physical health. You're not entitled to a partner. You're not entitled to money dropping out of the sky. The only thing you're entitled to is what you create. And not even that, really. But this indignant identity wants somebody to do something for it because it doesn't think it has the capacity to do it on its own. It's one of the last things to integrate, and it's a really stubborn, angry, resentful kind of archetype. It doesn't necessarily, I call it an archetype because aspects have stories. Archetypes are just something we all pass through, and we don't have to make it personal. It's not personal, it's just in your body of consciousness. Let's move beyond it. So indignant is really interesting because it comes from the Latin indignus, right? I'm looking at my notes real quick because I want to make sure I get it right. You know, I have a problem mispronouncing things. I get emails all the time correcting me. Indignant identity. Just so you know. I'm just acting it out so you can see it. I have a good laugh. I don't take any of this personal anymore. It's funny. Send me that email. Come on, buddy. So indignant comes from indignus, and that actually means unworthy. Indignant comes from the Latin indignus. Dignus, right? Dignity. Dignus is worthiness. So indignus, right, would be unworthy. So the identity that pops up that's indignant, knows better, and blah, you know, I had a workshop once and I priced it too low. I'm learning better because I didn't know my own worth. And someone said, well, that's why I come to you and not other places because yours is cheaper. And, you know, I raised my prices immediately after that because I was appealing to the indignant identity. No. Anyhow, you live, you learn, right? So that indignant identity is coming from a core wound of unworthiness. There's also the I know it all archetype. I already know all this. I'm already realized. I had that after I went through my realization. I had the belief system that that was supposed to be it and I wasn't going to work hard on anything else. Yet certain things kept popping up, and I talked to someone I trusted who's more advanced than me. I love having friends who are more advanced than me. What are you going to learn if you're surrounded by people who don't challenge you, who just blow smoke up your butt? Anyhow, so I was talking to a friend, they're like, you still have a lot of stuff you need to move through. And I had that I know it all indignant identity pop up, and that's when I knew I had the work to do, right? So if it pops up while you're watching this, don't beat yourself up. Don't do the guilt and shame spiral that doubles you down in duality, right? You just go, oh, I don't know it all. God, how boring would it be if you knew it all? That's what Tobias is doing on the outer edges of creation. He's looking at the unknown unknowns. And as the light of awareness pours out into the unknown unknowns, he's learning. Life is no fun if you're not learning new things. A new skill. I invest in real estate. I invest in the stock market. I do cryptocurrency. I have been for almost 12, 14 years. I do really well. And I like it because I'm learning something new. So really going beyond that archetype of, I know everything already. If you knew everything already, you wouldn't be living in your parents' basement, all right? You wouldn't be living in your parents' basement. I don't care. I don't care what happens in all of creation. I don't care what happens to anybody else. I don't care about anything or anybody. I'm just gonna go try to have sex with as many women as I can and drink. Or I'm just gonna hide in the closet and do the same thing I've been doing over and over again. I don't care comes from the idea that you don't have any control or any input in what's happening in all of creation. I know when I wake up, my mood and how much energy I have flowing in my body impacts everything and everybody around me, not just in my immediate surroundings, but on the far edges of creation. I can see that because I use my light body to travel out there to talk to Yeshua, to talk to Tobias. They're always saying, God, don't these people know if they just had more energy flowing in their body, that the health of the cosmos would be greatly improved? The thing is, when you have a lot, if you do it for service, right, you could, but the thing is, when you do that, then all of your needs are taken care of financially, physically, relationship wise, because you're not, love is not relationships. You don't waste a whole bunch of time on it. Two beings or more beings can be love with one another, but love is not relationship. It can never be found in relationship between one identity and another. That's not love. That's an arrangement, a contract, a roommate situation. Obligatory sex in relationships. Relationship is not love. It's not love. So the I don't care comes from, oftentimes is coming from other lifetimes where you did care and you got butthurt about it. I tried not to care for a long time. It's simply not possible. Not caring shut off the entire pranic flow. I had a bunch of weight around my middle, because when you don't care, you're shutting down the flow of creation, so you carry a bunch of weight in your middle. I don't care shuts down your bank account. Every time someone says, I don't care what happens in all of creation, I'm not judging them. I'm just like, oh my God, you're creating an energetic impasse inside of you. No wonder you can't pay your bills, or you're having health problems. You're carrying around a bunch of extra weight that you don't need. When you get that pranic flow going and impact, there's no separation between your bank account, your physical health, your relationships, whatever. That doesn't mean your life will be perfect or you don't have things to address. I have little fires to put out all the time, right? Selling a house, dealing with humans, talking to my investment advisor, trying to get my more conscious approach in there. But you learn to be creative with it. There's no problems, there's just solutions. And if everything were perfect, there would be no reason to be on earth, because you're not learning anything. I grew up, when I was growing up, my family had a cattle ranch, and there's a saying in that, it's very Texan. If you're not winning or learning, you're losing. That means you have wins. You have things that don't go right, but you learn from them. And if you don't learn from them, you're losing, right? So if you're not winning or learning, you're losing. And that keeps energy flow. You don't get tripped up. You don't think, oh, I did something wrong. I'm just going to totally shut down and never try again. No, right? So there's another archetype that I see. The other one is, who, me? I actually can have an impact on all of creation? Oh, no. I don't want that responsibility. I just live this quiet little life. Nobody lives a quiet little life. Creation lives inside of all of us. I am not special or unique. When you just say, I just live a little quiet life, and like you're eating the crumbs behind the refrigerator like the mouse, just a little bit. I just need a little bit, right? You're actually slowing down creation. As above, so below. Right? There's no separation between any of it. You find your sovereignty, your autonomy in the unity. Without understanding unity, there is no sovereignty or autonomy. Without autonomy, there is no unity. It takes the duality out. People think sovereignty means nobody else or anything else matters, but that version of sovereignty is not correct, because it places everything and anything outside, so it's separate. To experience biological autonomy especially, right, where my body is not impacted by those around me. Unless I have a deep personal connection to someone, then my nervous system can be impacted by that deep connection. But anybody else? No, right? To me, that deep connection is saying, I'm letting my guard down, right? And we're connected in a different way. Biological autonomy means I don't have any food allergies or, dietary restrictions, because whatever goes in is just energy. I tend to like nice, healthy things. But I do love a cheeseburger and fries too, right? But you need to understand finding your autonomy in the unity, and finding the unity in the autonomy to really get from initial realization beyond the kill the Buddha fake version of it, and the one you want to realize, I don't know what to do. Stand up straight. God lives in your spine. But after you stand up straight, don't become aggressive, right? There's a balance to be had in all of this. One of the most annoying ones, I don't really have this one, but I see it all the time, is the hide and seek, right? They're peeking around corners. They send me notes like, oh, how are you? And that's what their eyes look like. How are you? And what they're really asking me is, tell me how you are so I can pick it apart to see if you are who you say you are. I just want to be like, relax. Pour yourself a beer. It's going to be okay. Hide and go seek is, you know, they go out and they post something to see what people do, and then they retreat. And then they get mad on the comments. Someone wrote something about AI the other day on Facebook, and I wrote a comment that I said, that's interesting, totally neutral. I don't agree or disagree with anything. Agree, disagree goes out the door, whatever. But I just said, that was interesting. And they were like, what made it interesting? I didn't respond. You know, hide and go seek is interesting. I see it. The best example I can give is people will want to sign up for a workshop and an event, and they start doing the email pokes. I'm going to come. And I say, oh, okay, great. And then I'll get another email, and they want to keep pulling off the light they think that is mine. I'm just radiating the light. It's not my light. It does not belong to me. But they're coming to poke, and they're never going to sign up for the workshop. They're never going to come to the event. They just want to peek in and then hide, right? Hide and go seek is really hard to identify in yourself, right? I'm out, I'm coming out, right? And then you're totally not, right? But those aspects are really playing hide and go seek with you, and the external world is just a symptom. I would just say feel into it. I am having a tough time describing it. If you have experienced this hide and go seek archetype in your body of consciousness and have a way to talk about it, write it in the comments below. If you write a comment on YouTube, I will always get back to you because it benefits the all. When you share your stories there and I get to respond, I enjoy reading them. So go for it. So hide and go seek was the other one. The one I see a lot is the buffering frozen, right? They're just frozen. There's like a deer in headlights look. A lot of people that have done work for us or, you know, have worked here, I had I don't ever talk names. There's no one single person I'm talking about here. It's data points, right? But they're cruising along, they're able to get their emails done, they're able to get everything done, and then it's like something shifts and they're just buffering, frozen. And it's like your computer freezes, right? And you have to hit reboot. Being in that buffering, frozen state happens to us all. We're processing a lot of information, but hit the reset button, turn the computer off and back on. How do you do that? Get up and freaking move, breathe. Everybody is so rigid, you know? If you look at humans out on the street, they're just so rigid. They're not moving on different planes. They have one plane, and this is the plane they move on, right? If you can add some fluidity to your life in any way, that'll stop the buffering, frozen part. So that brings me to my next one. There's no prana. I have met so many realized beings, but there's no prana. That's a baseline, right? Prana flowing through the body. Ideally, you really need the Kundalini flowing. But the Kundalini is not something that's really appropriate for a public YouTube channel. The other thing I get a lot is the defense mechanism that is spiritual hierarchy or snobbering. The age of Aquarius is the end of all spiritual families and factions. That's what created the energy wars in creation at the beginning, right? I'm better than you. I'm going to take from you. So when I started doing these different formats of YouTube videos, I got a few notes of, you lowered your vibration, or, you know, you did this, or you're talking different. So most of the people I work with came from Crimson Circle, so I learned their language and started talking to them in their own language. Just like when I moved to Mexico, I learned Spanish to talk to people in their own language. It has never been my language, right? So the age of Aquarius is wonderful for me because I no longer have to speak in a spiritual faction language. I can talk to you in my own language. Hopefully introduce some new terms and ways to talk about things. Words get really heavy when they're used over and over again, especially sovereignty. People just don't get it. It's become this idea that I'm sovereign, I live in a cave, nobody impacts me ever, and I don't impact anybody else, and I'm miserable. That's what spiritual sovereignty looks like to most people. Mine is, I just went out with 10 friends and had a big meal, and I was able to be myself at that dinner, and my body wasn't impacted by what anybody else did. Right? So we have the spiritual hierarchy, the snobbery, the so-and-so said, kill the Buddha, You know what I'm talking about. It's so easy to see in someone else, and it's a lot harder to see inside yourself, right? Last but not least, not so apparent, right? There's a part of you that has a deep-seated fear of creating more karma. The way the old enlightenment setup worked was you came to your realization, your enlightenment, you stayed a little bit longer, and then you peaced out because God knows you don't want to create any more karma and have to come back, right? So if you're fully present and in your light body, you can fully interact with the world, you can have relationships, even hopefully you know that love is not relationship. Two people can be loved together. Go back to our June video, I talk a lot about that. But once you're in your light body, everything you act, you're observing and acting from the same place, right? If you observe and you act from the same place, you're not creating more karma. If you separate the actor and the observer, human and I am are separate again. Oh my God, it's the most heartbreaking thing to watch. Someone so close to human and I am becoming one, which is the light body expression experience. And then they get chicken, stretch it back out again. That's a strange place to be. I'm not comfortable being human. I'm not comfortable being realized. I am in fragmentation. And these are often the kill the Buddha types. Not the correct meaning, but the angry man meaning, masculine meaning. I had that aspect. It was hard to integrate, you know, that archetype. But this deep-rooted fear of creating more karma keeps people paralyzed and afraid to leave their house. They don't know it's that. It's buried so deep. But I would say the way that you would create karma in this life, in the age of Aquarius, is by not living your life. Karma is created by regrets and unfulfilled wishes, right? So if you get to the end of this life and say, oh my God, I incarnated in the age of Aquarius. I had the gift of consciousness and I chose to spend it locked in my house instead of interacting with the world. You will create unfulfilled wishes and regrets, karma. Those are the only two things that create karma, right? So live your life. So this is just kind of skimming the surface. I didn't have a huge plan. I just scribbled some stuff down this morning. But let me talk about where we're going, right? Where we're going is, starting in November, there's going to be a regular schedule. There will be a regular schedule, and we're going to do the second new light wave influx, right? In February this year to July, August timeframe, there was a new light wave influx. And each month, it was like a crescendo, a forming wave, and then it hit the crescendo, and then it collapsed. So this new light wave brought a ton of new energy to Earth. It's really you bringing it to you, right? People are like, where is it coming from? You. It's coming from you. It refracts, it reflects into the cosmos, refracts back, and then you absorb it. Refraction, reflection, and absorption are the three qualities of how new light works. We'll go really, really deep into it. But another wave is starting in November and it'll finish in April. And I'll do the whole series on YouTube and monthly videos. So please subscribe to our channel below to get those. Me and a team of support are going to be on the road doing the light body code events. And the first one we have coming up is in Kelowna, Canada, October 30th to November 2nd. We are having beers and bowling night on the 29th. So get your bowling shoes. Keiko and I, Keiko who does the video for us, we're a little competitive. So be prepared to get your butt kicked at beers and bowling. We have space in there. You know, I didn't cap it at a certain number. There's plenty of people coming, but the hotel, the resort that we're staying at, they have other rooms that we can fill up. So you're welcome to join us at that one. And then in May, we're gonna be in France, Toulouse, France, and then we're going to go to some of the Sarah and Mary Magdalene sites that I just know like the back of my hand. And that one's gonna focus on the light body code that is love. The one in Kelowna is focusing on the singular communications network. So that's my new business model. I want to teach as many in-person events as possible. The light body can't be taught online. You need body-to-body contact. And it's not like I'm special or unique. When we all get together, something truly magical happens. It's time to shut the computer and come meet us at a live event. All are welcome. We don't just work with Shambra anymore. It's open to anybody and everybody. And there's no prerequisites. Just come open, ready to have fun, open-hearted, meet some friends. The type of people that show up to these events are amazing. And I'm addicted. I'm just gonna keep one after the other. And then my commitment to you is to get these new light waves down. I did the last new light wave in a private forum with about 100 people. We had about 100 people participate in that online series. So I just want to open it up to more of you. You're welcome here. No spiritual hierarchy, no spiritual factions, grounded, realistic consciousness offerings. We're not doing eyeballs rolling in the back of the head type stuff. We're not doing victim stuff. We're not ascending, we are descending. If you have ascension symptoms that are kicking your butt, it's because your consciousness is trying to descend. Stop trying to ascend. You're gonna make yourself so sick. Suffering is a choice. And the age of Aquarius says you no longer have to suffer for some sort of undefined spiritual goal. What does ascension mean anyway? People who promote suffering as an ascension, a normal and natural ascension symptom, should be placed somewhere with bars on the door. You do not have to suffer for some sort of undefined spiritual goal. The age of Aquarius is the end of all suffering. I'm embodied. No matter what happens around me, I'm smiling. I may be crying and smiling, but I'm smiling. Every cell in my body is lit up. Let's do this thing. All right, questions, comments, write them below and I will always get back to you. You throw them in my email box, they're probably gonna get lost. Write them in the comments below, subscribe to our channel, make sure you're gonna get the new light wave influx coming to your inbox or your YouTube page. I'm Lauren. A lot of people call me Sarah because I had a lifetime with Yeshua in which my name was Sarah. I don't really care, but I do want to tell you I am in love with you. Every single cell in my body is love with you. I hope you go do something fun for yourself today. Get out of the house. God, I just want to sit here with you. Each and every one of you are so amazing. I hope you know that. Come share the love with us at one of our events. We'd love to see you there. God, that feels good. Sorry, I'm just oozing today. I'm gonna let myself ooze a little bit. It's been really fun to speak to you guys from my love and my own self, my fluidity without channeling anymore. You know, when you do this kind of thing that I do, you have two options. You can channel or you can be the standard. You can't, if you don't channel, you have to be a standard. And that is scary. But it's my time. I'm done channeling. I do talk to the Ascended Masters every single day. I talk to the GWB every day. But I hold my own seat at the table now. I worked really hard for my street credit to get there. I don't have to channel anymore. All right. Go have some fun. Get off the computer.